If this was their one shot, he'd put it all behind him. He had been alone the last time. 7 years down here, alone. Only the screams of his fellow tortured fallen in other chambers to keep him company, to remind him hourly of his failures. Then the 2 years in Ramuel's dungeons. 9 years alone. He wouldn't let the two friends beside him endure it.
Do it now, Dannon.
Give me a moment.
Fuck, the prince had to be in bad shape to have even asked that. Proud bastard.
Take a few.
Hunt's gut twisted with guilt. To his credit, Rune took only a minute. Then the creaking of his chains began again.
Keep it quiet.
Rune swayed his body back and forth, swinging his weight, aiming for the rack of weapons and devices just beyond the reach of his feet.
Too far.
Rune's legs strained toward the rack, trying to grab the iron poker that, if the prince's abs held out, he could curl upward and position with his feet, nestling it inside the chain links and twist it until they hopefully snapped free. It was a long shot, but any shot was worth a try.
Here.
Hunt lifted himself up on his screaming shoulders, feet out, blocking out the agony, breathing through it. Hunt kicked as Rune collided with him. The prince muffled a cry of pain, but arced farther this time, closer to the rack.
You got this.
Rune swung back, and Hunt kicked him again, eyes watering at what the movement did to every part of his body. The rack was still too far. Another few inches and Rune's feet could grab the handle of the iron poker, but those inches were insurmountable.
Stop. We need a new plan.
I can reach it.
You can't. Not a chance.
Rune's swinging came to a gradual halt, and in silence they hung there, chains clanking.
How strong is your bite, Athalar?
Hunt stilled.
What the fuck do you mean?
If I swing into you, can you bite off my hand?
Shock fired through Hunt like a bullet.
What?
I'd have more range.
I'm not biting off your fucking hand.
It's the only way I'll reach it. It'll grow back.
This is insane.
Rune nodded to Hunt.
We need you to be the Umbra Mortis. He's a badass. He wouldn't hesitate.
A badass, not a cannibal.
Desperate times.
Rune met Hunt's stare. Determination and focus filled the prince's face. Not one trace of doubt or fear. Pollux probably wouldn't return until morning. It might work. And the guilt already weighing on Hunt, on his shredded soul? What difference would this make in the end? One more burden for his heart to bear. It was the least he could offer, after all he'd done. After he'd led them into this unmitigated disaster. Hunt's chin dipped.
Athalar. Athalar.
Hunt dragged his eyes to the hellhound, expecting disgust and dismay. But he found only intense focus.
I'll do it.
Hunt shook his head, though Baxian could probably reach if Rune stretched toward him.
I'll do it. I've got sharper teeth.
It was a lie. Perhaps his teeth were sharper in his hellhound form, but...
I don't care who fucking does it. Just do it before I change my mind.
Hunt scanned Baxian's face again, found only calm and sorrow.
Let me shoulder this burden. You can get the next one.
The hellhound had been Hunt's enemy at Sandriel's fortress for so many years. Where had that male gone? Had he ever existed? Or had it been a mask all along? Why had Baxian even fallen in with Sandriel in the first place? Maybe it didn't matter now. Hunt nodded to Baxian in acceptance and thanks.
You were a worthy mate to Danica.
Pain and love flooded Baxian's eyes. Maybe the words had touched on a wound, a doubt that had long plagued him. Hunt's heart strained. He knew the feeling. But Baxian jerked his chin at Rune, holding the prince's stare with the unflinching determination he'd been known for as one of Sandriel's Triari. Here was the male Hunt had tangled with back then, to devastating results, including that snaking scar down Baxian's neck, courtesy of Hunt's lightning.
Get ready. You can't scream.